Hi class, today we're going to be looking at Chapter 4, Problem 12B. You should be able to see Cengage now, and I'm going to complete this problem in Cengage. Again, we're doing Chapter 4, Problem 12B. And in this particular problem, what they're going to want you to do is to complete some federal tax deposit information worksheets. And they're also going to ask you to complete a Form 941 as well as a state return. So during the fourth quarter of 2021, there were 7 biweekly paid days on Friday, October the 4th and the 18th. On November, the pay dates were November 1st, 15th, and 29th. And in December, the pay dates were the 13th and the 27th. We're going to be working for the Clark Roofing Company, and we're going to use the forms that are supplied, and we're going to complete the following for the fourth quarter. They've given you some payroll data, and they've given you the amount of the OASDI taxes. They've given you HI taxes that were withheld, and the federal income tax as well as the state income tax. All of these earnings are on $37,450. They've also given you the employer's share of OASDI taxes as well as the employer's share of HI taxes. They've also given you the federal tax liability for each pay period. What we are to do is we're to complete the federal deposit information worksheets reflecting electronic deposits for a monthly depositor. The federal deposit liability each pay, again, is $1,304.56. So this is just a worksheet that an employer might prepare. And we're going to start with the first federal deposit information worksheet. And you can see it's got blanks on here. So first of all, what we have to fill in is that this is going to be a type of 941 tax. In other words, we're going to fill out a form eventually called the 941 form that is used to report Social Security taxes, Medicare taxes, as well as income taxes. So the type of tax form that we're going to be using is a 941 form. The amount of the deposit for this first federal deposit information worksheet, it's for a month. And so we're going to start with the month of October because that's what they told us. We had 2 pay periods in October. Now, the total amount of the deposit for each pay period is $1,304.56. In other words, they figured for you the Social Security, the HI, the part that the employer pays, the part the employee pays, as well as the federal income tax. All that's been included for you here. So what you have to do is you have to multiply the federal deposit tax liability for each pay period times 2 pay periods for the month of October. So if you will put in $1,304.56, and since there are 2 pay periods, I'm just going to multiply that by 2. And that will give you the total amount of the deposit for the month of October. And this would be the tax period for the last quarter of the year, October, November, and December. So it's the fourth quarter. And we should make our deposit, since we're a monthly depositor, by the 15th day of the month following when we had withheld the taxes. So in other words, we withheld the taxes for the month of October. So we're going to go to the next month, which would be November 15th. And that would be the due date of the Form 941 form, because they were a monthly depositor. You learned this in the last chapter, so that this is really a review for you in this particular problem. But it does go along with this chapter because it does have some federal income taxes that become a part of the reporting process in the 941 form. For the second month, we have some deposit information. Again, the type of tax return that we're going to be completing is a 941 form. The amount of the deposit, this time for November, there were 3 pay dates in November. So we've got to take the total federal tax deposit liability for each pay period and multiply it by 3, since there are 3 pay periods in November. So $1,304.56 times 3 pay periods gives you the amount to deposit of $3,913.68. The tax period again is going to be the 4th quarter, and we're depositing this in November. So the due date actually is December the 15th. Since it's a monthly depositor, it's the month following the deposit. Since we'd make this deposit in for the month of November, it actually has to be deposited by December the 15th. Again, in the next part, we're doing the same thing. We're going to pick up the 941 form is what we're going to be preparing. So all this information is going to end up on the 941 form. And the pay periods that we have remaining are for December. There were 2 of them, the 13th and the 27th. So we'd multiply 2 months, or excuse me, 2 pay periods by the amount each pay. So 1,304 times 2 will give you the amount of 2609.12 that would go in for the 3rd month of this quarter. And again, this is the 4th quarter that we're working with. And so our paydays were in December. So the month following December would be January. By January 15th is when we should have those deposits made. So we are a monthly depositor. We're depositing these amounts, and those amounts depend on the number of pay periods within the month. And then we take this information that we provided, that we prepared up here, and we're going to fit it into an actual 941 form. And again, this should be a review to you. The 941 form is the form that has to be filled out for showing how many Social Security taxes, Medicare taxes, and federal income taxes that you have withheld for these employees. And it's going to be for the quarter, and that quarter would end on December. So I'm going to choose October, November, and December. And then I'm going to answer the question, starting with part 1, line number 1, the number of employees who receive wages, tips, or other compensation for the pay period, including June, September, and December. And the amount that you paid those employees was $37,450. I skipped box number 1, but box number 1 is asking about the number of employees. The number of employees was 5 employees. That was given to you. So that goes on line 1. On line 2, we're going to put the wages, tips, and other compensation, which also was given $37,450. Right here is where I'm getting that information. And then on line 3, they want the federal income tax that you withheld. And the federal income tax that was withheld for that period was $3,402. Again, this was given to you. This was the FIT, the federal income tax was $3,402. And that goes in line 3. In line 5A, we want to know the Social Security wages that are taxable, and that would be the entire amount. Nobody went over the ceiling for this company. And then we're going to take this and we're going to multiply it by twice the OASDI rate, and twice 6.2% will give you 0.124. Remember, the employer as well as the employee has to pay, so it's like it's doubled here. So take 37,450, multiply it by 0.124, and that will give you the amount of OASDI taxes, which was 4,643.80. Then we're going to move on down to line 5D because none of these applied to us in this problem. And we're going to put in 37,450. And this is the HI portion. Notice it's been doubled because the employer and the employee has to pay HI taxes. So 37,450 times 0.009 will give you $337.05. It might be a good idea to check your work just to make sure your math is correct at this point. And obviously my math was not correct. Okay, so let me go back and see. Oh, I'll skip down to the wrong line. I'm sorry. This is for the additional Medicare tax withholding. So what I should have done is put it in line 5C, which is the taxable Medicare wages. Well, it's a good thing we checked our work there because it caught me. This goes here. And I should have known that because this 0.009 is not twice the HI rate. The HI rate is 0.0145 and twice that is 0.029. So 37,450 times 0.029 is $1,086.05. So I'm going to take this back out because it doesn't belong in this space. And then I'm going to check my work again, just double check, make sure my math is right. And that's what happened there. So we're going to move to 5E, where we're totaling up our total Social Security and Medicare taxes. it says to add column 2 from lines 5A through 5D. So these two are combined together to get the amount that goes here. So $4,643.80 plus $1,086.05 equals $5,729.85. Again, I just added these two together. I'm going to double check to make sure my math is correct. And it is. So we can move to section 5F, which is section 3121. And we didn't have anything that would go there. So we need to go to line 6, which is total taxes before adjustments. We're going to add lines 3 right here, 3, 5E, and 5F together. There wasn't anything in 5F. So we're going to add line 3, which is 3402, plus line 5E together, and that will give you $9,131.85. Excuse me. Then what I would do after you check your math is you're going to move to line 10. You're going to combine lines 6 through 9. Well, we're not exactly finished yet. So what I need to do, what you need to understand is that line 10 is equal to your total deposits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip and I'm going to go to part 2 and I'm going to enter the information in line 16. And they give you a choice of whether it's A, B, or C. Remember, they told you you were a monthly depositor. So the only one this could be was B. Your tax liability for the first month, remember that comes from those tax deposits or the coupons that we prepared. The first tax deposit was $2,609.12. $2,609.12. For month number 2, we're going to record what happened in November, and that was the second deposit information worksheet where we had that information, $3,913.68. And then on the third month, which would have been for the month of December, we would look at our third deposit record. And the third one was this one right here, and the amount was $2609.12. Then you're going to combine all 3 months tax deposits together to get the total for the quarter. And the total for the quarter is $9,131.92. And this total has to equal line 12. So we're going to go back up to line 12. And that would go in here, line 12. $9,131.92. But it's also should be equal to what goes on line 10. So $9,131.92. This is the total of the deposits. Notice it's not the same as the total tax before the adjustments. So what we have is we have to adjust it to be this amount right here. And so the way you do that is you subtract and take the 9131.92 and back out $9,131.85. And that will give you the fraction of cents, which would go on line 7. The difference between those is 7 cents. So that goes here. So what I'm telling you is the total of your tax deposits added together for the month of October, November, and December. That's where I'm getting this figure here. Since it does not match this figure that we already calculated up above, you got to subtract this from this to find the difference. And that difference is what we call a fraction of cents. It's due to a rounding errors in the problem. That's what makes it go there. We didn't have any sick pay, or they didn't mention any group term life insurance. So we're going to 11A, qualified small business payroll tax credit. And they tell you to attach $89.74 to that. We didn't have any of that. The non-refundable portion of credit for qualified sick and family leave wages. We didn't have any sick or family leave wages to deal with, so we're leaving that blank. The non-refundable portion of the employee retention credit from worksheet 1, I'm leaving that blank because we didn't have to do any of that. Then what you're going to do is move to 11D, and you're going to add lines 11A, which there was nothing on that, 11B and 11C together. There's nothing there. That's why this is blank. The total taxes after the adjustments and non-refundable credits, you're going to subtract 11D from line 10. So since 11D was 0, line 10 was this amount, that is the amount that we would enter for line 12. And also we know that because it was the total of our deposits for the 3 months. They didn't tell us about any deferred amount of employer share of Social Security tax, no refundable portion of the qualified sick and family leave wages, the employee retention credit. We don't know anything about that. So move to line 13E and enter your total deposit, which would be lines 13A, B, and C, and D combined together, which is 0. So we're going to keep 0 here. And I'm sorry, that's not correct, because you got to enter in your total deposits for the quarter on line 13A, which would be $9,131.92. And then when we get down here, our total deposits is going to be the same, $9,131.92. Then you're going to subtract 13F from line 13E, and what the remainder is $9,131.92. And then in line 14, they're asking if there's a balance due line 12 is more than line 13G, and it's not more than, it's the same, so nothing goes there. There's no overpayment because you got just the right amount. And we've completed this part, so technically we're finished with the 941 form. And it's time to move forward to the next form, which is the employer's report of state income tax for the quarter. Now, we haven't done a report for state income tax, but you just follow along with the boxes, you know, with the gross payroll for this period that was given. And the amount of the gross payroll was $37,450. Then you're going to look for your state income tax that was withheld, and that was given to. The amount is $2,621.50. I forgot the amount. It's 2,000. Sorry about all the jumping back and forth, but this is the only way you can do it. $2,621.50. We're looking at the state income tax. One more time. Probably need to write these down instead of flipping back and forth, but it's given. It's $2,621.50. And then in line 3, adjustment for previous period, they didn't tell us anything about that, so you just leave that blank. Total adjusted tax, line 2, plus or minus line 3. So wasn't anything on line 3, so just bring this $26,21.50 back down. And we weren't late, so we didn't have any penalties or interest we had to deal with. So the total amount due is $26,21.50. Hopefully I didn't leave out anything. I'll check my work. Oh, I did. I left off part 4 here, and they don't want a paid preparer, so just click no there. And I think that's all that they wanted here. So the rest of it looks correct. And that's all I want to talk to you about today. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.